Well, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to traders around the world. I hope you're doing very, very well. I'm looking forward to tackling markets here with you this morning. Welcome to all the new folks joining us. I am ZIAD, you're trading with Z this morning. Looking forward to tackling this market, finding some great trades, giving you my outlook, answering questions, educating on trading techniques and strategies, of course. So let's get going, folks. A very good morning to everyone writing in. I see everyone's writing in right now, and the room's already full, which is amazing. Hey there, Christian, Gus, Siraj, Subransu, Gus, Michael K. Who else? Mark S. Eric S. Now, as soon as I start reading out someone's name, everyone else is going to say good morning, and I'm going to be caught reading names for the next hour. So I'm just going to say good morning to everyone. Hey there, Shirley, Bill. All right, folks, a very good morning. I hope folks are doing very well. I look forward to navigating markets here with you. Hey there, Erica. Okay, off we go. All right, everything that I do and say here, folks, is for education and insight purposes only. It's not meant as advice. I'm not a registered financial advisor or representative. You must consult yours before making any trading decisions. Trading involves risk, not just reward, risk of loss. Trade with money you can wholly afford to lose. When I trade, it's always in line with my risk trading plan, which is unique to me and might not be suitable to you. Consult your registered financial advisor and get a risk trading plan. Whether I'm discussing past trades taken, doing live trades in front of you, coming up with plans and projections for future potential trades, whether it's with respect to a live cash account, a demo account, or a prop trading account, it's all done for education and insight purposes only. Finally, if I poll you in the chat and I give you an average response back to that poll, the sentiment there is not necessarily indicative of the sentiment of the entire group, just those responding. I don't audit the chat, so do take that stuff as anecdotal. All right, I think we're ready to rock, so let's just get right into it. The market move is a pullback from overbought conditions. Give you a little bit of the couching of the market before we get into, down to brass tacks. So here's the euro. I like to start off by taking a look at the direction of the US dollar and the euro. It can give us a binary risk on, risk off type of couching. And what we've seen is the euro break out of a downtrend channel, but it's not glowing green in today's trade. So we don't have a tailwind coming from the euro. So what does that mean? That means in the several days gone by, especially since July the 29th or 30th, we've had a tailwind coming from a rising euro, okay, and a falling dollar. We don't have that today. Furthermore, we don't have the geopolitical positive that we've had for several days. Here's oil. This is CLU. This is the September contract for oil. And we understood that this would be a likely outcome, right? We got very overbought in equity land. We saw the euro breakout get overbought as well. And we saw oil get very oversold. And in between there, you've seen precious metals glow brightly. Something that I called out for you first thing this week on Monday, that this is the week that likely silver and gold get going. And boy, did they ever. But are they still going right now? Gold is slightly, but we've got very overbought conditions there as well. And we've got oversold conditions here on oil. And it's up currently about 1.5%, just a little over than that. So what does this mean? Euro is weaker. Oil is stronger. Very overbought conditions, with the NASDAQ being the major proponent for downside risk. Here's what I mean. Take a look at the NASDAQ. It's currently down about 0.9%. It's headed down towards likely the 29,200-ish area. It doesn't have to get all the way down there. We're kind of at a interesting and fairly critical level right now. It's an inflection zone, little hollowness in the volume profile histograms that you can see over here. And now we're sitting at 29,350 roughly. For those of you that catch my Trader Funding Hub videos or Day Trade Delivered videos or Active Trader Room Strategy videos that I put out in the morning, you'll have already heard me say, I think that we are at risk of coming down towards the 29,200 area, but then it's likely to be followed by a bounce. Now, the only way around that is to directly rise back up above the lower 29,600s. The technicals don't support that. And what I just showed you in terms of euro weakness, oil strength, would imply that it's not likely going to happen that way. We're more likely going to have to come down a little further. Now, a couple of days ago, the insight was we'd come up to about 29,800-ish, pull back to 29,500, and then bounce. Yesterday's behavior added a little bit more downward pressure to the market, and the lack of the tailwinds that we've been getting for the last several days, prior to yesterday, the lack of the tailwind is also weighing heavier on the market. Now, is the ES in this kind of a condition? Note that the NQ is down almost 1%, 0.9% at this stage. If we take a look at the ES, it's not as worse for wear. It's actually unch. It's flat at this moment in time. So effectively, what you've got is a market that is not changing, not moving around at all relative to the Nasdaq. It's just a very indecisive candle. It has come from a little higher high on the session, not higher all-time highs, but slightly higher on the session. It is no longer. It's effectively unchanged at this moment in time. So what's the risk here? The risk here is seeing the Nasdaq pull down. The Nasdaq pulled down the S&P E-minis. That would be the case, right? So if we've got downside risk in any one particular market to a larger degree, it is the Nasdaq, and it has risk of pulling us down. Now, I want to dot the I's, cross the T's on silver and gold. Earlier in the week, you heard me say above 58 bucks and about 75 pennies, silver is likely going to glow brighter. We certainly saw that happen over the last several days, really, even off the low on Monday. And now what are we seeing? We're seeing a pause. This is not a breakdown. This is just a test of the top of a bottoming channel, right? We've been in a late stage downtrend. This is a bottoming zone, likely a bullish bottoming zone where we're going to break out and continue. But we got a little overcooked yesterday with a move that was, considerable. I think it ended up about 3.5%. Well, yeah, about 3.4%. So what we've got happening right now is just a little bit of the edge coming off on silver. It is not a bearish reversal that implies the whole thing comes unglued. Now, when we take a look at gold, it was glowing a little brighter. It actually is unchanged versus yesterday's close. It was in slightly positive territory. It made slightly higher highs. So did silver, by the way, right? Silver made some slightly higher highs intra-session so far versus yesterday, but it's not holding them, which is not a big surprise. So if I look at the configuration of the market, the things that tug at the market and pull around in the market, it is probably more of a risk-off start to the day. And it already has been. Is that going to turn around? Well, that's what I think is the case. I think that the Nasdaq finishes off the overbought condition being worked off. That happens over the course of this morning session. And then we get into a bounce situation. So is the Nasdaq technically signaled to a particular area? The answer is yes. It likely is the 29,200 area. And then I'm looking for a reversal. If we get a reversal right here, right now, as we move into the open, okay, great. It's going to be harder to actually trust that long from there. Having more of it come undone and back test the breakout of this downtrend channel, roughly in that 29,200 area, and then bounce would be a cleaner move. Now, that's what I want. That's what I think is likely. If that doesn't happen, we'll roll with the punches. Okay. So now let's do the same sort of thing for the ES here, and then I'll take you into the multi-time frame view with the technical indications on it. Where can the ES come down to that makes sense in terms of an area where it can then bounce? Well, it's got more to come undone. More overboughtedness still resides in the ES than in the NQ. Obviously, the NQ is down 1%. The ES is flat versus yesterday. So as of right now, I'd have to say somewhere in the lower 7,700s, somewhere in the 7,720s, all the way down to 7,700 is a absolutely normal area for it to come down to before we could consider another bounce playing itself out. So now let's get down to the nitty gritty. Actually, I'm going to get rid of this chart, and we're going to start looking at the NQ and the ES from more of a technical standpoint, in part to validate what you just heard me say, where I think that we have some downside risk down to 29,200 on the NQ. Here's the daily chart using the Champion Trend Pack Toolkit and the Triple S Toolkit and Wealth Chart member exclusive tools. What do we know about the signal state that we're in right now? We're in a sell signal state from a Triple S standpoint. Double red dots are there. The more important part is that we have come down below the fast speed line, and we've come into the channel, the MSR channel, which is these three green lines, which have turned magenta, which indicate that we've got technical damage. And we've opened the door to come down towards the center of the channel. But look, the momentum in the near term is obviously still quite positive, right? Yeah, in terms of going back a week, of course. So we are likely going to see dip and bounce. But where can the dip logically take us down to? Well, it points down to roughly 29,200 with a 20-point radius around there. You can see that the slow speed line, which is this magenta speed line I'm tracing right over there, is sitting effectively at 29,175. The center of the MSR channel is a little lower than that. It's sitting at 29,125. So there is risk down to this area. There's a likely bounce up off of that area. Could it be subverted? Could we end up turning right here? We would have to get up at least above 29,460 to say maybe things are going to change directly from here. That takes us back above the top of the daily charts channel. So I don't think that we're in the spot right now where I can say that that's the likely outcome. If you take a look at the daily chart, it is in a sell signal state. Okay, that sell signal is weakened dramatically. The NASDAQ is negative. The NASDAQ is working off its overbought condition. And then when we take a look at the 4-hour chart over here, we recognize that we're in a buy signal state on a 4-hour chart, but gravity is likely going to set in. Take a look at where the triple S indicator is in the subchart over here. We can see the triple S line coming down into the channel from above, intersecting with the fast momentum line at this stage. So this is a depiction of gravity setting in, overboughtedness working itself out, and we are in a buy signal state on a 4-hour chart. The triple S indicator does have the double green dots. The Champion Trend Pack Toolkit has told us something. We ended the buy sequence when we started seeing an absence of breakout forecasters, no breakout forecaster for 2 to 3 bars after the last one, and a bearish speed line cross. We're going to come back and test the last, the second, the third last breakout forecaster. Look at the value of the third last breakout forecaster. It's roughly 29,250, 260. Look at where the Champion Trend Buy Zone trail line is, sitting at around 29,200. So all roads are kind of pointing me to the area that I've already specified. Likely we come down towards the 29,200 area, and this would be the best candidate area or level for a reversal that is sustainable, that is durable. Let's now take it down to a 1-hour chart to kind of seal the deal. You can see on a 1-hour chart, we are actually in a sell signal state. Now think about time frames. The daily chart, it looks out a week to 2, sometimes more. The 4-hour chart looks out 3 to 5 days. The hourly chart looks out 3 to 6 hours. So what I was doing was conditioning you to get a sense of where the locations are that we can come down to on the daily chart, on the 4-hour chart. The signal on the hourly chart that matters for this morning is a sell signal. So we are in a tentative triple S sell signal. We got a range breaker right there from the Champion Trend Pack Toolkit. On the last closed hourly bar, we've been in a champion trend sell, champion cross sell with the dot at the bottom of the main screen of the main chart. And that's been happening throughout the overnight session, right? We broke below a positive divergence. Now there's no support features down here under the 1-hour chart. That's why you saw me bring it up on the 4-hour chart. That's why you saw me bring it up on the daily chart. And again, it points down to 29,200-ish, probably a bounce off of that area. Is that insight clear? And does that make sense? Let me know. Looks like my camera has decided to stop somehow. So hang on 1 second here. I'm not sure what exactly happened with it, but this has happened a couple of times now. So I'm going to try to fix it on the fly here. And for folks who are asking for a code, I'm going to give you that code and show you all that stuff in just a sec. Just give me a sec to get this back up and running. Murphy's Law, what can go wrong will go wrong, right? So let's see if I can get this fixed up for you. I'm not sure what's going on because all the equipment is brand new. So sometimes this is the way that cookie crumbles and I have to deal with it. Give me a second to get things back up here. My apologies. Let's see if this works. Okay, so you should be seeing my head back on the screen. You want to confirm that? Let me know. But to the question that I was asking, is the insight clear? I'm seeing responses back in the chat letting me know that the insight is clear. Now, we should do the same sort of thing for the ES, but the ES is not in control. It's the NASDAQ that's going to drag the ES down. Nonetheless, let's go take a quick look-see at what the values are that the ES could come down to here. So I'm going to pull that up on screen. Look at the 1-hour chart. Look at the bottom of the MSR channel, which has already been perforated, 77.48. That's the risk line, 77.48. If we go back up to a 4-hour chart, could that drop us all the way down to 76? I don't think so. Okay, I think that we'll work with this more organically. I don't think that we're going all the way down there. I think we're going into the potentially the lower 7700s, not all the way down into the 7670s. Okay, we're still holding the fast speed line on the daily chart, but it's tentative at this moment in time. So we are in a sell signal state on the NQ, which is the primary market that we're dealing with over here. And I'm going to just dock the 1 hour chart now, bring up the 5-minute chart and the 1 minute chart, and decide what I want to do right out of the gates. If we see buying come in that takes us above 460, perhaps it's a reversal right here. Okay, but I doubt that that's the case. I think the more likely outcome is that this is going to be a false positive and we reverse back down. Well, we can't argue with the fact that the 1 minute chart's got a couple of positive divergences, but note that they broke. We breached it on the first bar. So I don't trust this move just yet. Not getting into a trade just yet. But if we start breaking out and ripping up, I'm going to be tempted to take a little momentum scalp. That might end up being the case. So I'll just wait. But the ideal outcome over here is that a bullish push up that's fake is what presents. We get a bearish reversal, and I get back to the idea of shorting. And I'd probably want to do it below the lows. That would be the idea, at least. So I'm going to wait on this temporarily. I'm going to take the short right here. I'm in. It's profit positive pretty much instantaneously. I've only been in the position for a few seconds. Now it's profit negative. This is a very volatile time of day. We know that. And I want to protect myself here. I've been in the trade for 10 seconds. We had that pop up, reversal back down. I want to see that reversal back down, sustain. I want to see that pressure continue. Let's see if we can get profit positivity out of my first trade on the day. And there it is, 24 seconds in force. Small profit, but there it is. Those who are still holding it, power to you. It's still in force. We are likely coming down to 29,200. 29,200 is not that far away from where we are right now. And of course, you heard the insight in advance. We're at 29,300 at this moment in time. What I am not seeing enough of is I'm not seeing the NASDAQ drag the ES down enough. So I want to be cautious with shorts and take pieces along the ride down. The ES is still holding 77.48. So what I'm expecting to happen here is that the NQ's weakness here drags the ES lower, and it seemingly is doing so right now. Those of you that are still in the trade, let me know. Those of you that have taken the trade and have gotten a profit positive result or a result, let me know with a lucky number 7 in the chat if you're able to get something out of the insight so far, because so far it's been spot on. Now, of course, everyone has to take risks that they're able to tolerate. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to simply show you why and where and what I'm going to do. And I hope that can be helpful in your arsenal of information to trade. The ES is now coming down below 48. I am going to take a short on the ES imminently. I'm in it right now. I just hit the button. So I'm in a short on the ES right now. Just going to share that with you. So I'm in it right now. Okay. It's profit positive at this moment in time. And I'm waiting for that 10-second marker, and I'm taking my $50 of profit. Thank you very much. Okay, second trade of the day profitable. Yeah, these are very short pieces that I'm taking, but I'm demonstrating for you where I'm willing to get in and why. We broke the 77.48. I let you know that that's where the risk is likely. I let you know in advance that it's the NASDAQ that's likely going to drag us down on the ES. And here it is. And I was able to construct a trade out of that as well. Hey, congratulations, man. That's amazing. I'm happy to hear that. So where did the NQ come down to, folks? It came down to 29,240. We're getting closer to the area where it can potentially stabilize. We're getting closer to the area where it can potentially stabilize. It doesn't look like it's going to stabilize, does it? So one of the risks over here that we have to be aware of is the ES is a lot more still holding on to more of its overbought condition than obviously the NASDAQ is. So if the ES starts getting sold properly sold, it can just aid and abet the NQ to keep going lower. So I'm watching for the interplay between the two. I'm looking at the tensile strength between the two to figure out whether or not it's, one can pull the other or the other can pull the other, and how much of that is happening. And I'm analyzing that for you just in the backdrop here. And what I can tell you right now is that there is a real risk that the ES weakens further and can drag the NQ not only down to 200, but lower. There's a real risk of that being in place right now. So another way to say this in simpler terms is the NASDAQ was leading the ES down. The ES can now take over and lead the NASDAQ down. That's just to make it simple. So at this moment, I'm hopeful that you've gotten out of the shorts. We've reversed back up strongly, bigly, surprisingly. Actually, not that surprisingly. It's the first 5 minutes of the day. So I'm in flat mode right now, just waiting. We have gotten such an aggressive rip right back up. It's taken us above structures of resistance on the 1 minute chart. But the ES is not of that ilk at this moment in time. If you look at the ES, the 1 minute chart, we're seeing price action come up into it as resistance, and it's holding as resistance. So this is the risk. The risk being the ES can now be, take the lead and be sold and drag the NQ back down. That's the risk that I think we're dealing with at this moment. It's not off the tape. We're still below 77.48. It's still a real risk. So far on the day, I'm hopeful that, folks have been able to extract something out of the market. Alongside me over here, I'm still looking for, a real reason to believe that we could actually heal here and go up. Can the NASDAQ actually pull the ES up? The ES is not yet broken above resistance on its 1 minute chart, so I don't believe that that's true, but we're getting closer to it. So my mind is not, I'm not going to dig my heels in. If we end up seeing a rise here that sustains on the ES above its 1 minute chart channel top, so right over here, we get above, so we've just gotten above there. I don't know if I want to buy the ES on this basis, but I could buy the NASDAQ on that basis. It's rising on a 5 minute chart into falling resistance, but it's made it through the breakout forecasters. You can't deny this, and 460 is the number. I'm going to try one. I'm late, very late. So if I don't get a profit positive result out of this, I'm not going to be, that miffed. I've taken it down to 1 micro here. I'm past the 10-second marker. I'm not seeing profit positivity here. If it starts to implode, I'm getting the heck out of the way. And hey, look, got some profit positivity out of it. I'll take that. I'll take that cup of coffee, if you will. We are rising right into a nexus of resistance. It is a very strong reversal that is now coming with the ES on the 1 minute chart back up above its channel top. So I can't deny the strength of it. Is there some continuation potential above 440? The answer is a yes. And we just breached 440, or at least tagged it. And above there is some game. The number that stands out on the hourly chart, which is really boss for the day trader, is 446. It's the slow speed line. If we get above 446, it opens the door for a run up to about 510. So what trade do I want? Do I want to take it right here? Do I want to wait for it above 446? I want to wait for above 446. I'm in. It's a little stretched. I'm going to do it with one contract to start. It's not profit positive for me yet, but I think that this trade can still work. If it rips right back down and turns red, I'm going to have to take an L on the trade. Don't want to, but hey, I don't want to end up losing more. I think that we're a little overcooked, but I think that we're poking our heads above a resistive structure that can then end up giving us a little bit more of upside. But I'm not seeing the follow through here at all. I'm seeing red. I want to see if that bar goes green again. And if it does and starts pushing right back up, we may end up seeing the second leg of the move up. We are now back to almost neutrality on the trade. No, it's not working. I'm out. That's enough. I had to take a $39 loss on that on a 1 micro on there. I'm glad I'm trading it with the micros at this stage, right? I'm testing out whether or not this is real. Can we actually get above that slow speed line? Have the mechanics in the market changed? Are we seeing the euro rise? Are we seeing oil fall over in dramatic fashion? No, neither nor. So I'm not seeing that be a reason. I'm not seeing couching around the market be a reason. I'm not seeing any leading indication from precious metals at this stage. Gold has come up again a little bit, but silver's still indecisive. Gold's up about 1/3%. I'm not seeing enough here. So no. Okay, so have we established a range already now? And are we in that range? And is that going to be the chop fest that we play out? Or are we still in a directional move down? The hourly chart still says we're in a directional move down, right? We're below the speed lines. It still says we're in a directional move down. You saw me in earnest try to play a breakout using a very small size. We got above structures, but the champion trend sell zone trail line is still intact. If this is a bull flag and we break out, I will probably want to try it again above 29,450-ish to play it up to 510. If we're coming back down again, where's the next trade? So the next trade at its earliest can be where we are now, but I would like to see at least some structures on a 1 minute chart broken, like the center of its MSR channel. So 29,360. I think that would be prudent at this stage. I personally am probably not going to take a short until we get down below into the lower 300s. Because if we're coming back down again, folks, we're coming back down to slightly lower than 200. If we're breaking out of a bull flag and continuing higher from here, I am willing to try that trade again. Like I said, above 29,450. That takes me above the slow speed line on the hourly chart. And, you know, it's a strong reversal. We're getting closer to that line now, folks. So I'm getting ready to potentially re-enter. Let's see if that becomes a reality. I don't like the way that the ES is behaving in this situation, but the NASDAQ is actually taking the lead in full force. Okay, so here we go. We're still not above the slow speed line. We're nudging up, slow speed line on the hourly chart. We're nudging up to it. It's at 448. We're at 441, 435, so it still has not taken it out. I think it's prudent to wait to see it breach. Okay, we hit it. We breached it. I'm trying the trade exactly like I told you I would. I'm going to do it only with 1 micro. If we're going to rip and run over here, we're going to rip and run. If we're not, I'm done. I'm out. So I'm waiting right now to see if that rip and run really works. If that bar goes even close to red, I'm getting out of the way. If it's getting too close to red, I'm out of the way. Can we come back into the trade? Sure. It's trying to break out. So there's two ways to look at this, right? You've got this very fast momentum time frame of the day that we're in. There's a lot more volume. If it breaks out, it can just run away. So that's why I was willing to attempt to catch it. And I'm going to do it for a third time. Either the third time's a charm or 3 strikes and I'm out. So be very careful. Again, we're trying to perforate the slow speed line on the hourly chart, which is in a sell signal. Okay, this time I'm seeing a little bit more effectiveness on the ES. So I've taken the trade again over here. It's just a 1 micro. I want to show it to you on the ES right now. What I'm seeing on the ES is encouraging for this attempt to work. We're above the channel again, but now, hey, let's see if it sustains. Now, my trade's in force. It's not gone away, but I'm actually watching to see whether or not the ES can now support the trade or not. I'm not seeing enough. I am in a buy signal state on a 1 minute chart. I'm converting to a triple S buy tentatively on a 5 minute chart, intra-bar, okay? And the hourly chart is still back below the slow speed line. So this is not going very well. Third strike and I'm out is what it's looking like, right? If I'm gonna play a buy signal on a 1 minute chart during the highest momentum and volume time of the day and it's not breaking out, there's no point in staying in the position. I'm out. For those that took attempts of the spikes up and did well on it, amazing. Okay, but I don't think that I've got evidence of a breakout that's sustainable at this stage. So I'm not going to take any bigger size trades over here on the long side. I'm not going to be adding, position size. I'm going to be just waiting to see whether the breakout can work. I've had my 3 kicks at the can. They didn't work out. And now, is the 4th kick at the can going to work? I don't know, but that's amazing. I'm seeing folks put their results in on the attempts up and they're doing well. That's amazing. Okay, it's going. And it can go fast because of the time of day that we're in, right? We're almost at the 9:45 a.m. marker. ES is making a stand as well. Above 77.58, the ES may become a better option. It may become a better option, but I've already learned my lesson over here. I need to see it clear dramatically. And the risk of not being in the position, obviously opportunity cost of if it works out, but the real risk of the opportunity cost is based on the time of day we're in and the location price is in. If the trade works, it's going to rip fast, right? So this can go up to 510 and close that 50-point gap, 50-point range very quickly. And where am I getting 510 from? Up over here, top left-hand side of your screen, right over there. So it's working now, okay? And we're going to see 510 very likely. I'm going to try it potentially on the ES. I'm looking at that right now. We're poking our hairs above 77.57, but we're not sustaining above there. So, patience at this moment would be encouraged. The Nasdaq is stronger above these highs than the ES is. That's to be sure. Both are trying to turn the corner. Both are trying to offer up a legitimate turn. The ES is not above its slow speed line on the hourly chart, right? It's still trying to get up. That's 77.58, right? So it's back up there right now. It's making another stand right now. So there can be an option right now for an attempt at an ES long, an NQ long, to continue that rise up towards the 510 marker. That is legitimate at this stage. It's just high risk because this is a market that's got sell signals on the hourly chart, okay, buy signals tentatively on the 5-minute chart, and we are in a buy signal state on a 1-minute chart. But again, a 1-minute chart is flimsy. It's a 1-minute chart. 77.58 is so far holding. It's so far holding on the ES, but the NQ is not yet giving us that big push through, which makes sense. We're rising into falling resistance on the hourly chart. So take great care is definitely the insight here. Take great care. I'm not trading this moment. It's a little too messy, I'm feeling. And I had 3 kicks at the can, right? It didn't work out for me. So I'm not going to be sitting there trying to redo it. There's going to be better times in the day, I am sure, that I'll be able to pick up trades. Now, if the ES does sustain above 77.59, I will probably take a whack at it on the ES side. And if I do it, I'll let you know as soon as I hit the button. And I'll bring it right on screen. I'm not in anything right now. I'm just literally waiting, right? My ES is blank right now, waiting. I want to leave the NQ on the screen because I know the majority of you are trading that. And it also is affecting the directionality of the ES. So I'm watching 77.59 and I'm watching the NQ to see if it makes that final pop up. Okay, I've got 77.59. I've taken on the ES long. I just hit the button. I hit the button. Okay, so I wanted you to know I hit the button. I'm in the ES trade. Okay, it's profit positive. Let's see if we can get a little bit more, and I'll take my $125 of profit on that trade. Thank you very much. Okay, so that was another entry. Okay, is this the beginning of a rip-roar run back up? It's hard for me to, really go all the way to that side. We did come very close to my target, right? My target was 29,200, and I stated it unequivocally, 20-point radius around 29,200. We came darn near close to that. I think the low of the session was in the 30s. So we came darn near close to it, and we reversed. This is what we were expecting, a reversal. Was I expecting it to happen that abruptly? No. You could hear it in my tone as I was moving through. And that's the reality of the situation. But we did get the move up. We've got the grind through. You did get the trade idea from 29,445 to 510. That's now happened. It was messy. It happened. I made up for my little L's over there just a moment ago with a ES trade. And I hope that trade worked for you or not. Let me know. And Mark S., I'm not fully able to read everything. The chat flies by so fast, so I apologize. Feel free to throw it in. One-liners really work for me well. When I'm looking in the chat and I'm seeing multiple sentences or 2-3 liners, it's difficult. Okay, so what do we got? We've got 29,525 at this moment in time. And we are continuing to rise. The opportunity is up to 575, the center of the 1-hour chart MSR channel, top of the champion cross sell zone. The ES trade would be to where? Let me identify that for you right now. Give me a second, and I am going to look for the next logical area. It is 780. So there's about 16 points. So 7,780, 77.80 would be where we are targeting on the ES. And with respect to the NQ, which is on your screen, I've already quoted it, 525 to 575. It's actually really 520 to 575. That would be the location. Is this the comfortable area for the move? No, it's not. But we are still in a buy sequence on a 1-minute chart, and the triple S is in a buy sequence on a 5-minute chart. And the pre-trade conditioning pattern, as John G., I think I saw you put that in the chat, right? It is in a PTC pattern on a 1-minute chart. So we did have the up, we have the down, we have the up, double green dots are right there. So the pattern went live effectively on this bar. Now, again, it's a retracement, but we're backed up by the 5-minute chart being above the channel. And if I look at the daily chart, we're back above the fast speed line, right? That's in the lower 50s. The 4-hour chart, we're back above the speed lines. They haven't crossed over, but we're above. And on the 1-hour chart, we're above all resistive structures except for obviously local highs. I'm not comfortable Roncoing a trade here, setting it and forgetting it. I know my PTC pattern's in play, but we've had a very abrupt reversal. I'm going to take pieces of the move. The next place that I could try a long on the ES is probably for me going to be around 67. If we reach there directly from here, if this is a bull flag and we break through 67 and then look for about several points up to about 70, that would be my next ES trade. And on the NQ, if I want to take on a long from here, it probably would have to be above 540. So above the high, above the high. See, lots of folks are asking questions about accounts. I have a code. I'll give it to you afterwards. Let's focus on trading right now. Okay, so we're close to 540. We're not there yet. The ES did not break through 67, so I'm waiting. And you know what? The good time for a little breather question to everyone. Are you keeping your decision making under control? Are you okay? Lucky number 7 in the chat. If you're doing all right, you're keeping your decision making orderly, right? Take a breath and sit back and go, okay, we've got something to work with here on the long side. It's still cooking, okay? And I'm going to probably take on a long if we breach 40. Okay, we're breaching 40. I'm taking on a long. The ES is not in the spot yet where I want to take on the long, but the NQ did get above 40. Took out that local high. It's back testing the speed lines. I'm only going to do it with 1 micro. We're in a buy sequence. Champion trend is going live right now on the 5-minute chart. And I'd like to build this trade. But again, I'm going to watch very carefully to see if I've got the goods, right? If the goods are not there, trade's gone. So Mark, the counter, you can change the time in the settings configuration. So you can change the time. It's a 10-second, so it's not going well on this trade, so I'm out. But I see your question there. So yeah, you can change the time on the position timer. I think that there's a way to do it, in the config menu, right? So you can change it to set it for 10 seconds. Okay, this is a back test of rising support. There's probably an opportunity for it to rebound back up, but clearly we could not hold 29,540. I've done better with the ES today than I have with the NQ, right? And that was a fairly strong drop. So I want to back off of the NQ right now, recognize that we are in a market that is trying to retrace. Okay, got extraordinarily overbought and is trying to retrace the dip from the overbought condition. This is not a fun market to trade, right? Where we are is not an area where things are great, right? We got extraordinarily overbought, negative divergence, down the ship went, okay? That's yesterday, okay? So down, 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 sideways move overnight, positive divergence at 5 a.m. on the hourly bar. We broke through it, opened the door, gave you the insight, down to 29,200, and then a bounce. And then we've got the bounce. And Carlos C, if you want to activate the timer, it's super easy. Okay, if you want to activate the timer, just go over to this menu here and click Position Time Indicator On. Okay, and then there's a way, Mark asks, there's a way, I know, I've seen it, but you might want to go to the live support team because I can't remember where it is off the top of my head, but they can show you how to adjust it so that you can have your timer set for whatever specific amount, to cross over. So let's go take a look at this. And that's a good point, Abdi, on the 1-minute chart in particular. Right, on the 1-minute chart in particular, the 5-minute chart as well has been above for a while. but the Spike 2.0's green line's been above the top. Now it's dipping back down into the into its channel. I'll believe that there's a reversal that's significant when the triple S line also comes down into the channel. It's about to. The 5-minute already has, right? But we haven't broken the fast speed line. So I'm not really seeing the criteria for a full reversal back down just as of yet. It could be. It's a market. It can do whatever it wants. But I'm not seeing that yet for me to start flipping the script and going time to short. Nope, not yet. David H. just told me, once the timer is on, you can click it to set the button. Thank you, David. Appreciate it. Teamwork makes the dream work. Okay, so like I said, I'm not seeing all of the goods yet that tell me this move is done. There's probably another move back up. We'll see. Whether or not I get to take a piece of it is another question. I've been more successful trading the ES than the NQ in today's trade, interestingly enough. Still putting up 4-digit gains each day. I want to try to make today the same or better, of course, but it really is not about that. It's about, I want to find that great entry that I'm comfortable with. I don't want to be pessimistic about a retracement, but it's a retracement at highs, off of local highs, off of a very extended condition. Have we pulled back enough? Technically, you heard it from me already. That was my assessment. Come down to 29,200. We came down to 29,230s and then bounce back up. So that's happened. What we're seeing, though, is not the usual that you would expect, right? Rampant up and away that we've been kind of programmed emotionally to feel over the last handful of days from what we've seen from the back end of last week. So we got to wipe that out. We've got to be more rational, right? In that moment where the emotion and the emotional baggage or the emotional momentum is, I'm expecting something, so I'm fighting that myself, and I'm going, what's the most rational, logical choice at this moment? We've converted into a buy signal state on a 1-minute, 5-minute chart for a while. We've got a strong enough reversal on the hourly chart that we're trying to grab a hold of the MSR channel. Okay. We get through the center of the MSR channel. That would be a big signal, right? We'd be above the champion cross sell zone, and that's in the 575 area, 580 area for the NQ. Get above the 620 area, which I called out to begin with, up and away we go. David H. Mark S. says thank you. And Carlos, what does the timer do? It depends on which prop you're trading with. Some props like FFF, which has recently changed its rule from you have to maintain a position or half of your trades have to be at least 20 seconds or longer in force. They've reduced that down to 10 seconds, which is incredible, which is great. So that position timer can help the trader determine whether or not they've gotten through the 10 seconds. That's why you hear me talk about that time frame, right? We're trading FFF accounts over here, and I want to make sure that we're taking the trades in a manner where we can hold them long enough to qualify, right? So my job is to come in and find the most credible entries and take the pieces of those entries that I'm comfortable with. And right now, I'm not comfortable with any entry. Right? I'm not seeing anything more than a consolidation process playing itself out on the 1-minute chart, and it's a consolidate to continue process. The backdrop, the 5-minute chart, is in a bull flag for all intents and purposes, and we're holding the fast speed line. The problems begin on the hourly chart. We're rising into falling resistance, and always keep in mind when you're looking left, you're looking at bigger time frames. Bigger time frames come with bigger technical tracks that are laid down, bigger walls of resistance, bigger springboards of support. That's the idea. And that's a really good point, Jimmy. Thank you. Thank you. 1 minute to the end of the hour. So it's not like I was thinking of entering a position right now. Anyways, I'm waiting. And what I'm theorizing for myself right now, or kind of trying to identify, is probably 575 to 620 and 620 higher look interesting. Let's see if the top of the hour makes a difference here or not. And I'm glad to see all those sevens in the chat from earlier. Keeping yourself under control is the key at this stage, right? Let's take that breath and make sure that we get into the next one in the rightest way possible or probable. And John G, the PTC pattern is, I started to see the double green dots on the 1 minute ES chart go to a single blue, but it's back to double green. And the ES is still trying to rise. So that PTC pattern, for all intents and purposes, is still there. Well, Gus, that's amazing. Yeah, for those who want to do it, you can use the coupon code as my first name on the FFF side. Okay, here we go. Let's see if I can get a breach of 75, but I'll show that to you folks a little later. I want to see if I can catch this trade, if there is one to catch here. I'm not seeing anything yet that's too enticing, but I do like what I'm seeing on the ES more right now. It's just cleaner. PTC patterns there, fast speed lines above the slow. I want this 1 minute bar to close positively, at the top of the bar or higher. I could be patient and wait for about 65, 66. The target area that I'm looking at is 80. So there's lots of room, and there's no trade here. No, not yet, at least. So what this feels like is it's getting ready to go higher faster. What it is a retracement trade of an extraordinarily overbought market that pulled back and is trying to come back up to that overbought condition. It's got enough fuel to do this, and you can see that on the hourly chart, right? That's what matters. But look at the direction of the blue line on the hourly chart. It's not as, when we got into the day, it was pretty much flat it was flattening out. It still hadn't rolled over. It's gotten a little steeper up, the blue line being the slow momentum line on the triple S tool. So longs still make sense. And my thesis on the day, my outlook on the day was down to 29.2 and then back up. So far, that's worked out largely, but back up now has to prove itself. We need to get above structures that make a difference here, and we're not above them. We're still consolidating to potentially continue. We're working off the overcooked condition on the 1 minute chart. I really don't want to see the slow spike come down into the spike 2.0 channel on the 5 minute chart. I really don't want to see the triple S line come down into the channel on the 5 minute chart. I want to see it stay above. And then perhaps we get another leg up. Right? And maybe that's it after that. Don't know. But another leg up could, take us from here to north of 620, 615. The question is, am I willing to try it here? No. The earliest one could consider it is at 60, 560. I think I'm going to wait for 570, center of the MSR channel on the hourly chart. And I could try along there. Or I could try it on the ES above 63.5. We're at 61 right now. If we're coming back down and gravity is going to set back in here, I'd like to see breaches of the bottom of the MSR channel, which is not that far away. Obviously, the low of the hourly bar, so 500. That would be the bare minimum, right? And still, we have a catchment of support in the mid to upper 400s. I still like the idea of one more leg up. We've got enough fuel to do this. The hourly chart spike 2.0 tools green line is above the center of the channel. The red dot's gone away for the current bar that we're on. So we've got an impulse to buy with, just a little less than half a tank of core bullish fuel on an hourly chart to put to work. But you can have your car gassed up, ready to go, go out for your adventure. If you can't find the keys, you're not going anywhere. And unlike a market, unlike a car, you can't hotwire the market. We have to be rational here. So right now, cars still got gas, but lights are on, but no one's home, kind of thing. And Sultan, that's an amazing result. It's not what you make, it's what you keep. Right? You've heard that over and over. Okay, so we're seeing more sells come into play. We have not broken below channel support that's rising on a 1 minute time frame. I have to still consider this part of a consolidation process to continue higher until I know different. Okay, now we have come down to the 500 marker, which is the early warning area to tell us that there might be a problem here. But I'm not seeing structures on that 1 minute chart break. We come down below the center of the MSR channel here. Sure, there'd be problems, but I'm not going to get into a short there. I think that for me, I'm going to simply wait for price action to be below the speed lines on the hourly chart. I don't want to trade this pocket. I think it'll be too whippy. Right? We've established that there's enough bullish fuel available to keep going higher. We've largely been consolidating, and you can see that on the 5-minute chart. So if I try to get my toes dipped into water, it's probably going to be hot water and I'll get burnt. If I want to reach for the stars and grab along, I need to clear resistive structures. So I've got my game plan. I'd rather take the long on above 570, right around there. I'd rather take the long on above there. And as far as shorting goes, it really does depend on the acceleration, but I think I'd want to wait for the speed lines on the 1-hour chart to be breached at a bare minimum. And with respect to the ES, we're still holding the channel. The PTC pattern started to break down on this bar. We got a blue dot, so it cooled off, but the double green dots are back. And we are in a buy signal state on the 5-minute chart. We're in a buy signal state on an hourly chart, 4-hour chart, daily chart. So the signal backdrop is so well aligned. The overcooked condition that we're in is the problem. The ES did not pull back quite far down enough to get a great refueling. The NQ did get a little bit further down to get some bullish fuel captured, and it did. And we're still just waiting right now in Chop City. So if you're looking for excitement, this is not the place to be. Just waiting. And Mark S., you're saying short? All right. Well, hey, if it works, it works. Otherwise, I like what you said, man. The hub trade, hands under buns. I still think that this is consolidate to continue up. So I'm on the same side as you are, Richo. I still think that that's the case. It's just a matter of, can we break through the resistive structure, and where do I want to take the trade? I really want to do it on the ES more so than the NQ. Okay, we're at 63. I just hit the buy button on the ES, just letting you know right now. I did it right now. I'm in it. It's one contract, proper ES. We're coming up to the local high. Okay, so I'm going to manage that. I'll let you know what I'm doing with it, of course. It is profit positive right now. Okay, it's still early. Okay, it's still early, and it can still go awry, but the NASDAQ is trying to break out here and pull things up. We're almost above the 70 marker. I'm not seeing the ES carry forward, though. My trade's off by about 1 point on the ES, so about $50 or so. So I'm just going to watch it, wait. I'm still holding it. NQ still trying to push up. I'm still holding my ES trade on that basis. We still haven't taken out the center of the 1-hour chart MSR channel, but we perforated it. We've opened the door. Now we have to walk through it. And I'm not seeing it walk through very well. I'm still in the ES trade, by the way. So I'm just going to let you know it's still in there. It's down $50, $25, somewhere in that area. So I'm still in it. I haven't evacuated it. The NQ is now coming up above the 70 marker. I'm not seeing the ES get pulled up any further, though. So is this consolidate to continue, or is this a topping zone with a little false positive push up on the NQ? We know that the ES did not necessarily get as pulled back to gather as much bullish fuel as the NQ did from the pre-market and shortly after the open. But this slow grind is a grind up. Okay, it's not an incredible trading moment, but it is there. My ES trade's profit positive now. NQ is making the next stand up. When I say profit positive, I'm up like a half a point or so. Nothing significant, like, okay, a point in profit positive territory. But look, a point is a point. And I want to lock in as many profitable trades as I can in front of you here. I'm locking it in. 1 point, $50, 2 minutes, 10 seconds in force. Next trade above, for me, 66.5, 66.5. on the ES. If I wanted to do it on the NQ, it's already valid above 70. But this is not the market that we were in from last Thursday to a couple days ago. This is not the same market right now, right? The forces, this is why I described the forces, right? The forces that were in play, the 5.1% drop down on oil on Monday's future session, 6.5% drop down on oil on Tuesday's session. We don't have that today. The big breakout on the euro into the back end of last week. We don't have that today, right? So what we have now is the leftovers. Okay, let's see if we can get a little further up. We're at 65 on the ES, 65 and a tick. NQ is still progressing. The target area, by the way, which I mentioned before, I'll just re-mention it. It's 620. It's likely going to make it to 620. And now I'm sort of kicking myself that I didn't take it on the NQ as well. But shoulda, woulda, couldas don't matter. Could I get another entry here that I'm comfortable with? I feel like my entry is gone. I think I'm going to try it on the ES because I've got a cleaner breakout line on the ES. So again, it would be 66, 66 and a half, somewhere in around there, right? That clears the last high, tells me that we're coming up to probably, well, in earnest, I probably should wait for 67 and a half, but there's enough organization here. It's grinding its way up. I'm going to take it above 66 and a half. I'm in. I'll pull you back to and it's gone profit positive early, which is good. So that's another profit positive trade. And I just like taking pieces of this. Let's get that 10-second marker done. And let's take $62 of profit. Thank you very much. Another trade. Okay. And look, this is grinding. This is a grind. It's going to be frustrating. It's going to be taxing. Just keep yourself under check. And one does not have to trade this market morning, right? You have to put yourself in perspective and go, can I actually not frustrate myself to the point where I can still make rational, logical choices and continue to scrape from the market as we're trying to retrace up? We've made it to the target effectively now, 620. Okay, now comes the next tranche, right? So you heard logically in advance me say the hourly chart has got just a little less than half a tank of core bullish fuel. You watched me show you the slope of the triple S line up. You heard me say to you that, hey, if I wanted to take on a long on the NQ, it would be above 75. My emotional response in real life was I've done better trading the ES today than the NQ. And I was more comfortable taking the trades there. And you saw, I think, 2 or 3 in a row of profitable trades there. That was my emotional response fighting with my rational mind. Could I have done better by doing the NQ? Yeah. But was I consistent calling out to you throughout this process? And this is my question to you. It's a yes or no answer. Was I consistent saying this is consolidate to likely continue higher? I will never say it will do that. I will never say this is going to happen. That's Looney Tunes. The evidence, the sum weight of the evidence said consolidate to continue. Now the sum weight, and so you let me know if that's what you heard. As frustrating as it may be for those who are hopeful for short, as frustrating as it may be to those that were looking for long, but tried it a few times like I did on the NQ and failed over here, right? And I switched to the ES, I succeeded, and I played this little move. Now, what I'm hopeful of is that you're able to digest the information in a way where, I will express to you, and I'll try to be as objective as I can. I'll express to you what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, then what I'm doing, right? What's the saying? Measure twice, cut once. Over here, it's a constant, measure, judge, execute, measure, judge, execute, measure, judge, execute. And right now the measurement is long on the ES above 67 and a half, 68, somewhere in that area, up to 80. 75 is a key area. I agree. I think it was Mike R. You put that in the chat. Maybe someone else did, but yes, I agree. 75 is a key area. But above 68, it is up to the 80. Hey, I learn every day, Marcus, right? So, just keeps building and building. Just keep clocking the hours. I'm well past 10,000, but just keep clocking it. Now, what I want to do though is I want to make sure that you know that there are going to be moments where I go, hey, I'm trying to fight my emotional response. I'm trying to unravel some of the emotional baggage from the last handful of days where you're in the mode where it's like, go, 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 big explosive moves. That's not the market we're in right now. Right. And what I do is I'm constantly having the conversation with myself going, what could I have said better to inform you at the beginning of the day? The way I said it was, we're not in the same market. No, I didn't say that. I said, the couching is not as good. Right. If I would have come to you and I said, look, don't expect explosive momentum moves, then you would have seen that big reversal off the beginning. You'd be like, what does the guy say? The best thing that I could have said is, this is not the same market as we were in the last 5 days. And the way that I said it was, hey, the euro ain't rising. Oil's in a bounce. The Nasdaq's potential to drag the ES down. My targeting was right, down to 29,200. We got down into the 29,230s and then reversal. Okay, now we're in a reversal where the first part of the reversal gave me like pangs of the last handful of days, where it's like, go, 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 momentum. And then it stopped. Then it became a grind. We're in the grind. And now there's another move available here. Let's just be very clear about it. I don't know if it's going to be a straight line up, but hey, Frank, I think you summarized that, my friend, really well. You cool with me reading that out to the group? Because that's the, from soup to nuts, that's the market that we're in right now. So Frank writes to me, if one is not careful here, this is a give it back market. Right? So I think there's another move here. How one decides to take advantage of it, be very careful. You can wait for more clearance above the top of the 1 hour charts MSR channel top. I would. Probably somewhere in the 630 area, I could get enticed to try along. And we're then moving up towards the 700-ish area, 720. One way to adjust, use micros instead of minis. If you trade 5 contracts at a time, trade 1. That would be the idea. Now, I can't tell you what to do, but I'm looking at the interplay between the two, right? I'm looking at the ES and the NQ, and I'm still seeing oscillative positive behavior on the ES, shallower. The delta between highs is, we're still making higher highs and higher lows, but it's not explosive. Okay, so we're above. Okay, I'm going to try it. I caught it wrong. I'm way late, right? I'm way late, but I told you what I was going to try to do. I'm in it. 1 micro, that's it. Not willing to give it anything else. On the ES side, I'd be willing to take take a bigger one in. But let's see if we get that impulse to buy continuing and carrying forward higher. Remember, all of the short squeezing and the FOMO and that melt up, that's done. This is either buyers are ready to come in and bid this thing back up or not. And so far, we've seen some of that come into play today, but I'm not seeing effectiveness here. I don't want to give anything back. I'm just taking it off the table. NQ, not as much for me today. ES, above 68, I might try that one. I want the NQ to support the trade. We're above the hourly charts MSR channel top. Okay, we just hit 67.5. NQ's back up to the high of the last bar. We just hit 68. I'm entering an ES long right now. I just hit the button. It did not go profit positive on me right away. It's actually profit negative. So I want to be very careful with it. I like, if I've done the work right and I've got the right line, I want to see it profit positive in at least the first few seconds. It's gone slightly profit positive, but nothing great yet. And the NQ is giving me some challenging behavior here. My trade is out of the money, 50 bucks. I'm still in it. Haven't gotten out of it. We haven't broken the fast speed line on the NASDAQ chart. We've just perforated it. My trade's in the money now, or no? It's down a tick. So I'll leave it on the screen. Let's see if we can get something out of it. Or I get out of it. So I'm demonstrating to you the skittishness of this continued grind up. There's no point. So I'm gonna back away. I actually think that one way for me to help reset myself over here is to walk away for a couple of minutes and then come back to the table. Now, in real life, that's what I want to do. But I still see this opportunity. It's still there. And do I need to squeeze that drop of blood out of this rock? Probably not. I would like to lock in another profitable trade. NQ is grinding up again. It's slower. So I'm just waiting to see where I'm comfortable. And I'm not comfortable at all in any of these areas. It's a slow grind up market, and that's what it is. Exactly, Donna. Taking a disconnect, right? Because this is the type of market. Frank nailed it, right? Be careful up here. Be careful today. This can be a give it back to the market, right? And we don't want that. We want to keep the gains on the week. The week's gone so well. So I'm glad I got out of that ES trade. It's not working, but I also am sitting here going, how much do I think I'm going to be able to gain, and how long is it going to take on the way up? And you're riding the speed lines of my car. I'm happy to hear that. That's amazing, because we are on the 5-minute chart holding the speed lines. Double green dots are there. We're in the buy sequence that's still there. We still have about a third of a tank of bullish core fuel available on the hourly chart. That's still there, right? That hasn't gone away. But we can see the grindy nature of this, right? Like Abdi was saying earlier, we spent a lot of time with the slow spike above the top of the Spike 2.0 channel. There's only so much high octane bullish fuel, which is, when we've got the green line and the blue line on the Spike 2.0 tool above the top of the Spike 2.0 channel, and you're seeing the triple S above the top, we're using high octane bullish fuel, but we're not making big explosive moves. Not minute to minute, at least, right? And George, I think you nailed it there as well, right? Not a good day for breakout traders, right? Breaks are not forceful enough to compensate for the trades that don't work. See? These are experienced traders in the room writing this stuff to me, and that's exactly right. You know what I've said? What I say to folks is, hey, there are going to be days where, hey, I'll get the insight right. I might not trade it perfectly. And what I'm trying to do is explain my emotional and rational state and still try to make trades along the ride too. It's not been a bad day. It's just not been a great day. And we're still rising. Speed lines are still in play. We're back up to 68 almost on the ES. We just came back up to it and still grinding. No, the alternative strategy is to buy the dip into the rising support structures on the 1-minute chart. That would be the alternative strategy. With hindsight, that's very clearly worked on the ES in particular, right? So you go over here and you take a look at what I'm saying. Dip, bounce back up, buying it there. Dip, bounce back up, buying it here. Okay, now, we just don't want to see a dip again here. We want to see a higher high. If it dips and it breaks the center of the MSR channel at this point, not good. Because then it's spelling out likely the beginning of the end of the rise, which may end up being the case here. We're still grinding in a very, very tepid manner, very challenged manner, but we're still grinding. I like that, Fuad. Chips for dips market. Yep. So I've just had a weird slowdown that just happened on my machine. Looks like I'm back, but I want to just make sure everything's moving tickety-boo. Yeah, everything's back. Okay, good. Grind is still happening, and either you take the risk of staying in the trade, like Mike R was saying, just riding the speed lines, and really it's the fast speed line on the 5-minute chart that would be the earliest exit. It's 30 points lower than where we are right now, right? So one would have to maintain more risk tolerance to stay in the trade. Ultimately, it's the slow speed line, which is all the way down at 590, right? So that's 60 points, or plus 70 points almost. Now, most will not tolerate that. It depends on the individual trader. I do. It's in the active trader room, Shai, and it's in the PDF in the active trader room. But I also communicate it as much as possible, live here as well. It is. But I'm happy to bring it up. We're well through the week. We've obviously had a week where, the move has been so expansive. It's taken us well above the top of the ranges that I'd originally had, planned out in the room. So I had to add an extended extension on it, which I did. Okay, so right now the ES is sitting at what, 77.60, 77.60. We're right here, right? We've gotten so far above our launch zone. All of this gold and magenta stuff is the treasure that we're trying to gather above the clouds, right? We're so far above home. Home is a line in the sand over there. So if we're looking for levels right now, so 60, 75, 83. Below 60, 47, 32, 23. Okay, that would be the map there. So happy to share that. You need to write in for that one, Shai. You can write in to support@becomeabettertrader.com. So look, this is not a market that is giving us that momentum follow through. My hope is that you're trading less. My hope is that you heard what Frank said and what others said as well, right? Where this is like George, breakout traders are not getting paid here because the breakouts are not forceful enough to compensate for the ones for trades that don't work. So this is a market where one may want to go, Now, if we do actually break down here, we are coming down with more force right now on the NQ and on the ES. Could we go back to a market that sells off? And the answer is, yeah, that can happen. So with that in mind, my role is to come up with the trading plan if things start to go awry. What I would have to say right now is things have not gone awry. We are still dealing with plenty of bullish core fuel. But you know what Abdi said about the a very extended condition that we're in? That's coming home to roost right now. Still got the green dot. This is just the end of a buy sequence on that 5-minute chart, likely, with the potential more likely to resume until we know different. Now, one of the other things that what I can kind of refine here, and just to be useful about this, is if we come down below 540. We are probably coming down to 475. 540 gets breached, we're probably coming down to test the champion trend buy zone trail line. If we pop back up above 625, back to long is alive without too many questions. So I want to put those guardrails on right now. I'm not trading this. Okay. 540 breaches. We are probably going to break it and then come down if it breaches. If we reverse right back up above 625, long is alive again. And we've still got plenty of bullish fuel. The triple S slow momentum line on the hourly chart is still sloping up. The triple S line itself is still in the upper half of the channel, 1 hour chart channel. All of that's there. We did pull back to the roughly 29.2K and then bounce just like we had identified in advance. All of that happened. So I still have to lean in on the idea of it's going to come back up for another go. Right now, on a 5-minute chart, we still have not seen any damage that's dramatic. Not at all. And the 1-minute chart is now starting to see that fast spike wanting to poke back up from below the bottom of the channel. There it is. Let's see if it converts that slow spike above its signal line and gets the triple S line above the fast momentum line. If not, okay, then we've got a problem. And that problem really is clear below 540, 545, somewhere in that territory. Below there, we've got downside risk to, the mid to upper 400s. And with respect to the ES, we just discussed it, right? We're sitting at 77.51 right now. 47 is where we could be headed, 4 points lower. It would need to be breached to open the door for another leg down. Okay. If we're able to hold, come back up above 55, let me just show you the 55 area, why there's rationale for that. Come on screen. There we go. So look at the 5-minute chart MSR channel. Okay, bottom of the channel is at 55. Center of the channel is at around 58. If long is going to firm up again, we want to be at least in the upper half of the MSR channel on the 5-minute chart. That would put us in the upper half of the hourly channel, and that would put us back into the channel here. So again, I have to lean in on the likelihood that we're going to have a resumption long in slow motion, very painful to trade, probably not something that I'm going to want to be involved in. Nothing further on gold or silver that looks interesting to do. No. Nothing further really on oil that looks interesting to do. Still up about 1.4%. So yeah, I'm not seeing anything right now that I would rush to trade outside of the equity indices, because it is painful. This is a painful moment in the market to sit and watch. I've got a plan. I've communicated the plan. Look, if we come down below 540, sure, there's probably a short side trade. I have to lean on the side that this is just a consolidate. We end the sequence, we come back, we test the last, which we already have, the second last breakout forecaster, which has virtually been tested. The third last on the 5-minute chart is not that far away, 545, and then bounce up off of it. The hourly chart's not in a buy signal state, but we've made it through, the upper half of the MSR channel. We still have bullish fuel to put to work. Triple S is in the upper half of the channel. The blue line is still sloping up. So I have to lean into this. This is a pause, small pullback before we continue back up. That's what logic would say. And I have no more emotional bias. Just the waiting has just eliminated it. The chemical response in the mind usually takes anywhere between 15, 20 minutes. I think it's been that since I started talking about my emotional response. I'm feeling nothing regarding, wanting an up or desiring an up or desiring a certain type of trade or anything. Nothing, neutral. That's where I know I'm probably going to make better decisions. But it's so true, isn't it, Ollie? It's so true. Like you can probably hear it in my tone as well, right? It's not like I don't care. I'm just neutral, not emotionally neutral, which allows rational decision making to reign supreme. That feeling of, I'm kicking myself that I didn't get into this, or that I did that. That's all gone now, and that makes a big difference. Because then we can stay focused. Okay, here we go. Back up above the top of the hourly charts MSR channel. Things may be interesting. I'm not going to take a trade there. Okay, I'm not taking a trade there. I'm going to take the trade above 665. If we want to go up and test the champion trend sell zone trail line on the hourly chart, great. I'll take the piece above the clouds. And nothing enticing on the ES. Get above 77.61, then I'll check back in on the ES. For a long, that is. It just feels like we're kind of grinding time here. So lots of folks asked about this, so I'll share this with you now. I don't know how many folks are lots of folks asked about it, so I'll do it right now. Just give me a second to get it up on my screen so it's easy to communicate. Bear with me for another moment, and I will, because I'm not trading this slop right now, that's for sure. Okay, I think I got it set up so it's easy to communicate. As you know, we're trading FFF accounts over here for folks who want to get that incredible deal. I've had several folks now ask me in the chat about it, so I'll just share it with you. Obviously, you go to the FFF website, fundedfuturesfamily.com website. If you don't have your login, go create an account. And then when you get in there, you'll have your dashboard pop up and you'll be able to hit that Get Funded button. So if you go hit that Get Funded button, this page will pop up and you can go explore the different plans that they have. The deal is the 90% off deal if you use my coupon code, right? In order to do that, you go over here. You can buy their cheapest account, Velocity Plan, 25K account, and please feel free to explore all of their plans. Then you hit the Get Funded button. It'll go into your cart right there. Okay, it'll go into your cart, and then you can click the cart. And once you got to the cart, you can put coupon code ZIAD in there, ZIAD, and a $79 account will go down to $15.80. I think that is the cheapest offer there. But there are so many great offers that they have available, so go check them out. And again, the coupon code is ZIAD. Okay, so there's that. Let's go see. And you see me, Wes, right? All I'm doing is being patient right now, and I'm waiting for breaches of key resistance or key support. That's the hard part. Sometimes there is a lot of waiting in trading, right? There's a lot of waiting in trading. Into perpetuity. There's no time frame where they'll burn off, Wes. From what I know. You can double check that. Correct, Vivian. It's a 10-second rule. That's correct. So what you come in at is what you keep paying, is what I understand, D. So what you come in at is what you keep paying at, right? So you've got that incredible 90% off with the ZIAD code. Now, each account varies a little bit, so that's generally what I know. But please do double check before you buy anything, obviously. Abdi, that might be true, but I don't want to involve I don't want to add that into the room right now. It's just going to add so much more to look at. We've got the stuff on the screen that's important. It's consolidating, likely to continue for another leg up. Okay, now we got that insight right the last time. Is it a double top and is it going to break down, or is it going to consolidate at a higher low and continue for one more go up? I have to lean to the one more go up while I've got my hourly chart pointed in this direction, but it would be a lot easier for me if I had of course, a price action above the top of the channel. And Meher, they gave it to me to offer it up as I see fit for folks as a perk for folks that join us every day. And Yin, I don't know if that's the case, right? That it will give you the discount, the 90% discount, which is amazing. And then you have to go from there. So make sure you do your due diligence and read in. Okay, we're coming down. Is it going to be a breakdown right now? We've just breached 50, I think, on the ES. No, we hit 50. 47 is support on the ES. And what did we say? Hey, if we come down below 545, there's probably a short down to 475. Okay, so this may end up being that case. And if I want to take it, yes, it's an opportunistic trade, but I'm going to try it. I want to trade. Okay, 550, 559. Let me just get my crosshair out of the way. Just feels like it's so trappy right now. It just feels like a trap. Trap. No trade yet. And by the way, the ES did come down pretty much to 47. I came down, I think, to 46 and a half or 46 and a tick. And it's bounced up off of there as well. If we get whack-a-mole back down and the action starts to speed up, it would, be great, right? It would be great. But that was a trap, right? Waiting for, looking for a short. If we breach 545, is still fine. We came right to it. It's a breakout forecaster. It should act like a springboard, and we're seeing it bounce. Now, it's not bounced into a formation that makes me go, I want to take a trade on the long side. No, heck no. This is way too sloppy. Where would I try to take the long? Just to be very clear about it, I can wait for it to get above 602, which is the which is the MSR channel top on the 1-minute chart, which is also the slow speed line on the 5-minute chart, or I can wait for us to get above effectively, right around there, top of the hourly charts MSR channel, about 623. But this is not a enticing, from a probability standpoint, decision-making moment. We're headed into the end of the hour. The market should be net long in its position overall. Volume that comes off the tape by the end of the hour is going to have to close, but it's a very slight skew to net long. Right? We had so I don't think that we're going to be able to use the same mechanics that we did, before. Well, Simon, I'm super happy to hear that. That's amazing for you. So I'm just in wait mode right now. It feels like we're just burning time. And that might be the case that, we burn some time here. We could take a break and go for a little walk. But at the end of the day, I don't see a good reason to jump in. As far as outlook goes, Tim P, that definitely could be the case. I'm not ready to run through that just yet, because the nature of the day that we're in is going to really help. It's not helping me with the outlook overall. But the way that I would look at it is, we're going to try to retrace back up to the highs, and until that fails, we're likely going to be pointed up or hold up with indecision. So if I go take a look at the ES, for example, here, and I look at the hard right edge over there, let's just zoom in against that long-term channel, indecision, okay, with still all of that positive energy that is not, we have not overturned it, right? Usually there's an echo. So I would not be surprised if we find ourselves rising up to the 78, 50, 60-ish area on the ES between today and tomorrow, and then down. Again, I'm giving it to you in terms of where I think price has the energy to move up to and then stop. With respect to the NASDAQ, which has not come up to new all-time highs, right? But it's breached the trend formation. It had its dip down towards the 200 area. You heard that live from me. You saw that in the videos. We have reversed up off of it. All of that's good, but we have not overtaken anything yet that says, up to the all-time highs or higher. We have not done that. That is not the case. But are we going to see that echo? We not only saw it, we got a pullback of the slingshot and it was let go and we're shooting up in very slow motion. Very slow motion. Where am I going to be in a spot where I go, oh yeah, we are likely going to see this thing, hold itself up and, not have too many problems. The number, yeah, I can still track it to that day, the 24th. I'm going to bring it all the way back to May the 7th. It's still the same volume point of control effectively. 850 is the number. It would be above 850 that we would have to get to tell us not only are we going to retest the highs that were made yesterday, but we are probably going to make that next leg higher to about the 30,500 area, 540-ish area. Right now, I don't want to talk like that because I need to see how the day ends. If the NQ starts to fall apart and drags the ES down, we may still see dip and bounce, but it's going to happen over the course of later today and half of tomorrow. And it could take the ES down to the lower 7,700s. Then we bounce from there. And look, the NQ would have a more expansive move down, but I don't want to put conjecture on the table just yet. It's not good enough from a movement, price, location standpoint for me to forecast. So I hope folks have done fairly well. I'm not really that enthused about the trading in this market today overall. It's much slower, which we have to get used to, which is not a bad thing necessarily. Picking direction has been a little bit more difficult right now. The signals are leaning on a 5-minute chart of the ES, 1-minute chart of the ES to down. The signals on the NQ are starting to erode from up back towards down on a 1-minute chart. 5-minute chart's not done yet. We've just breached the 545 area, and I said I'm going to try a trade short. I'm going to try it. So I'm in it. I'm just going to do it with 1 micro, nothing big. And the idea was if we breach the breakout forecaster at 545, I could try a trade down to 475. Okay, so I'll leave that in play. And at the same time that that's happening, we are breaching on the ES the 7747 marker, 7747 marker, and it's not following through, right? This is not a great market in general for the breakdown or breakout trades, as we've clearly learned. I'll wait to see if that speed line test is effective and we get bashed back down. But even using adjectives like bashed feels wrong on a day like today. We're sauntering at best. I don't like what I'm seeing. This is just not a day where I'm getting clean follow through on breakdowns, breakouts, and we're having oscillations now that are saying lower highs, lower lows. Okay, but on a 5-minute chart, we haven't done anything yet really that says this whole thing reverses. This could all still be part of consolidate to continue back up. Of course, I'm hopeful that those who are riding longs got out of the way. If it wants to reset itself, it can. It needs to get back up and through at least 620, to tell us that, we've got some life back on the long side. If it's going to really break down, the 5-minute chart has to lose all support. So 475, right? The last trade idea that I said was, hey, 545 down to 475. That didn't work out. So I'm not going to sit here and just babble about it anymore. Let's take a break because this is very sloppy. I'm not likely going to be taking trades into the end of the hour. So we can take our break now and then come back for 11-ish. And continue the conversation. The way that I see it right now into the end of the hour, the bias should be up. It should be up, but we're we're not in a spot where I want to trade that up. If we're above the for me, 630, 640 area, I could consider a long. But I've tried this so many times, it's not worked out today. So I'm not gonna, I'm not changing my style wholesale. I'm just gonna wait for the market that suits it better, right? I don't wanna move into a new game, if you will, with new players. I wanna play the same game, but hey, look, the table has to be set for that, and it's not right now. So let's take a little pause. I'm certainly ready for that myself. So let's say we back here for 11 a.m. on the nose, and we can continue the conversation. Maybe there'll be cleaner trading after that. Who knows? We'll see. So I'm going to take a pause. For those of you that have questions, feel free to throw the questions in. Exactly, Joseph. Hurry up, hurry up. Wait. Right. And PTC is in motion, right? Is it not? No, it's not perfect on the 1 minute chart, John G. Well, on the 5 minute chart, yeah. 5 minute chart, it could be. I'm leaving it alone. I'm just going to leave it alone. All right, folks, let's get back here for 11 a.m. and continue the conversation then. And of course, I'll be there to answer questions as well, and all of that. Okay. So I'll be back at 11 a.m. Eastern time. That's 10 minutes from now. Stay tuned, folks. All right, folks, I'm back. Just had a little nibble, a little refreshment, and I'm ready to go again. So the insight was probably up into the end of the hour. Okay, here we are, moving up into the end of the hour. The NASDAQ has pulled the ES up. We have gotten above the 29,640 area. So it's getting very close to, the breakout that can complete the move up to 29,720-ish. End of hour dynamics were set up for more likely a rise into the end of the hour. That has happened. Now the question is, do we get follow through and anything cleaner to trade on the long side, post 11 a.m. So we've just changed hours. You've got the new hourly bar up there. So things are now in real test mode. And by the way, I just heard from one of our students, Dee. She contacted FFF and said, hey, if you use that code, the monthly will stay at the discounted price. So Dee, thank you for taking the time to do that. So just wanted to pass that information on. And I am trying the long right now. As you can see, I'm willing to hold it down to probably 57, 55, not much lower than that. And we're right back down to 55. So let's see if we get a little bounce up over here. With respect to the ES, I am willing to explore a long on the ES above 62.5. 62.5. Now I'm watching that spike 2.0 tool on the 1 minute chart. It's fighting to stay above the center. If it doesn't stay above the center, it's going to get dragged back down and we're going to end this buy sequence. I think we're still in a buy sequence that has some potential to continue on the backs of the rise into the end of the hour. But now I'm seeing that spike 2.0 tool come down in towards the bottom of its channel. I don't think it's a breakdown, but it's up to the trader's discretion on a risk tolerance here, whether to hold it or not. We're still holding the speed lines, right? We're still holding the speed lines. We're now not in a spot where we've got a lot of bullish fuel left. We're using high octane bullish fuel technically on the hourly chart. And if we are going to continue doing so, we can't submerge below water lines that will drag us. And that would be really all the way down here in the 20s, 620s, really below the top of the MSR channel on that hourly chart. So if we come down below that, yeah, it's not likely going to continue trying to come up to the champion champion trend sell zone trail line up in the 720 area. But as you can tell, I have not evacuated the trade, but we don't have a breakout forecaster on this bar and the speed lines are compressing. So the learning over here is we may be ending the sequence. All right, it's cheaper to sell now and get out of the way than not. And I might end up having to do that if I don't see action back above the speed lines on that 1 minute chart real quick. And it'll be preceded by the triple S line starting to kink up, the fast spike starting to kink up, in particular, the fast spike getting above the center of its channel. And right now it's not there. It's still, with some force trying to come down and the ES is dragging us. So I have to get out. It's likely going to bounce back up, but I don't want to risk anymore right now. If it does bounce back up and it comes up back above 650, sure, I could try it. But look at what we have. We have an absence after the sequence. So we've got breakout forecaster, breakout forecaster, breakout forecaster, wealth signal, breakout forecaster, no breakout forecaster, no breakout forecaster. Okay, 2 to 3 bars with an absence of breakout forecasters and a bearish speed line cross. Don't want to be in the trade, right? And exactly, it's a breakout trade that's just not working, right? That's the key. Exactly, Jimmy. That can be a good rule, but the nature of the day is what we're dealing with, right? We're dealing with a marketplace that has already had, like I've been having 4-digit gains each day so far this week, except for today, and today is a low 3-digit loss so far, but I can try to turn that around. What I'm really more interested in at this moment in time is characterizing where we are and what's likely going to happen. The ES has not pulled back to the degree that the NQ has. It's holding on. And that's a positive because the momentum that's still in place is still there. We can have the echo. We can have another follow-up up towards the 78.50, 78.60-ish area. The NQ did get pulled back and then got shot right back up again. But it has not gotten above a line that really tells us we're going to keep going. And look, we have to understand, and it's very basic. When you look at the expected moves for the week, or you look at pivot levels, in this case, I've got pivot levels here. The top of the weekly pivot range is what we got above 2 days ago, and then bearishly reversed back down below yesterday. And we stayed below it so far in today's trade. So that's a pretty decent marker, somewhere in the upper 600s. But it really is this volume point of control line right here, 29,850, that we would have to surmount to tell us that there's more on the upside. What I know right now is that there's enough positive energy still in place to try to get up there. I don't think that that's done. It's certainly not done for the ES. So another attempt to get up, and then potential failure after a higher high for the ES, and perhaps a rise that takes us up to close to the highs yesterday for the NQ. Both should really be able to come back up and tag similar levels to yesterday before the move back down, before a move back down of significance. That would be the best statement that I can make to you at this stage. Now, let's go and take a quick look-see right now at where the NQ is. There it is. Okay, it's not done. It's not done. So we've got a reversal here. I can try a long side trade over here above the speed lines. If we come back down below the speed lines, the risk is capped at around 620. All right, the risk is capped at around 620. At this stage now, the risk should be capped at around 625. Mid-channel pivot's not my favorite thing on the Spike 2.0 tool, but it is what it is. And here's the ES. I'll bring that up on screen for you. I don't see anything great in terms of setup. I've still got oscillating signals. It's a lot of chop. It's sideways. And it's a market that has not pulled back to the same degree that the NASDAQ did. We got down to the 7740s. If we were truly going to grab a bunch more bullish fuel, we probably would have come down towards the 7710 area and then shot back up. That did not happen for the ES. The NQ came down to an area where it gathered enough bullish fuel to try to make that move up again. It has. And the ES at this stage is just very indecisive. I think it's still close to unch on the day, right? Let's just go double check that before I make that statement. Yeah, it's up 0.0708% relative to yesterday's close. That's unch. So what I'm seeing in live motion right now is not encouraging me to, get into a trade that I sustain for ages. The fact that this one's working is great. I changed my tact a little bit over here to take the trade as it was trying to bounce and rise back up rather than the breakout, because George has been whacking me in the head with his comments in the chat, which I appreciate, George. I do. And look, that worked out great. If we get up above 680, there may be continuation up here, but that would have to be a breakout trade. Dare I try it, George? Dare I try it? No. We'll see. Fly is like, no. Look, you're going to have market days that are exciting and cleaner, and there's follow through, and there's great trending. And then there's going to be market days that, we called the reversal. We got the reversal, we got the dip down to 29K and 200, and we got the reversal off of roughly that area. So that worked, and we did grind up, but it was not an easy 10 a.m. hourly bar to trade unless you held, right? And that's one key takeaway from this market morning. After an overbought condition has played itself out, and you've had a little pullback from that overbought condition, the retracement back up, if that is scheduled, if that is likely, which we agreed it's a likely outcome, it may be better to hold the trade and let a little bit more risk tolerance play out, and just hold it for longer. And that would have worked out, but I'm not really miffed about that. I want to take the lesson and go, hey, when you break out to all-time highs or near that, and you have a extraordinarily stretched market, and it's already giving you the signs that it wants to cool off, okay? And you've got that solid insight that we're going to dip and bounce today. on the NQ down to 29,200-ish and then come back up, it probably makes more sense to hold positions for longer. And I know, Mike R., you're smiling because that's exactly what you did, right? So that's a good lesson to note down. We're not going to be in this condition very often, right? But we are going to be in overbought conditions, fairly frequently, but not necessarily with the ES at all-time highs, right? So now comes the trade that Fuad said no, and I know I'm configured to try to play the breakout. We're coming up to it. I'm going to hold myself back and not do it. The hourly chart is telling me, though, I've got the goods to get up to 720. The entry on a breakout might not be the best entry. If it breaks out and then pulls back to the speed lines on a 1-minute chart, or even better on the 5-minute chart, and then bounces up off the speed lines, like that last trade, which was what, 40, 50 bucks of profit, was done on the bounce back up off of the channel in this case, not the speed lines. And it's a resumption, right? So now we're pushing through the 80 marker. So this is the breakout, quote unquote, breakout. Does it just carry forward here? We're in a different hour. There's different nature of strategies that are in play at this stage. There's less volume. There can be more drift. I'm just going to wait to see how it reacts. So the breakout happened, it pulled back a little bit, but it's not pulling all the way back to the speed lines just yet. Certainly not to the speed lines on the 5-minute chart. And if we're going to endeavor to try and get a piece of the move up to 720 or higher, right? 720 and then it's 850. Those are the two markers. I'd like to see some coordinated behavior between the NQ and the ES over here. The ES is still stuck in its channel on a 1-minute chart, making it obvious to me that, hey, there's something wrong here, right? We're not above the top of the channel. The ES is struggling. It's more cooked than the NQ is, and it didn't pull back as deep. It didn't give us as big a depth of discount. The slingshot didn't get pulled back enough. And here you go, right? We broke out. We're pulling back to the speed lines. Now the consideration is, can I buy the trade off the bounce off the speed lines? Can I buy it after the bounce happens and it gets to a higher high? Because we've already broken out. Either or look interesting. I'm not going to get this incredible impulse to buy. And the number of points we're trying to capture is about 50, right? From roughly here, 40 to 50. From roughly here to 720 would be the idea. And I'm still not comfortable with the entry. I'm still not comfortable with the way the ES is behaving. It's not really giving me the supportive backdrop that I would want to see here. So that's definitely not there. And Bill A, the horizontal lines that you're seeing here on the 1-minute chart is the momentum shift 2.0 indicator. So red ball, white line is the momentum shift 2.0. So they're going to act like springboards, when you have the green ball and the white line, which you'll probably see examples of like right there, green ball, white line, they'll act like springboards and they'll act like inverse springboards unless they're broken through. So that when I was talking about, hey, we're in the breakout happened. I didn't take the trade. I held myself back. I learned the lessons from earlier today and we came right back down. Now, I theorized if we come down to the speed lines and bounce, maybe I could take the trade there. That's not happened for the 1-minute chart. And the breakout, the momentum shifts are irrelevant now because we busted through them. So now comes the question of, can we see price action come down to the speed lines, at least a fast speed line on the 5-minute chart? Could that become an entry opportunity? It just doesn't, it hasn't done that yet. And even if it does, it's not going to be a very tasty trade at that moment in time. But if it does, that could be a setup. I am seeing the green dots on the Spike 2.0 1-minute chart, which means against the primary up, this down will be partially retraced back up or wholly plus retraced back up. And now that green dot's gone away and we're already seeing that fast spike try to move up. So we've engaged with the speed lines. Theoretically, this can become the setup for another long. And we still have the Spike 2.0 tool above the top of the channel there. We still have the triple S slow momentum line pointed up and the triple S line above the fast momentum line, all in the upper half of the channel. So all of this still points towards another attempt at going up. But there's one problem. It's the ES. It did not get pulled back enough. Right? It's not in the same spot. And I'm seeing something now that is negative, right? We've got the triple S line breaching the hourly chart's center of channel. Now, this is a short, and this is a PTC pattern short. We have one down, space of 1 bar, one up, space of about 4 bars, 5 bars, no more than 6. And then we have a down, and then the double red dots below the MSR channel are there. And we are in a sell signal with the PTC pattern not fully engageable on the 5-minute chart, because we need to see 2 bars sequentially lower from that down signal for it to be engageable on the 5-minute chart, but it is engageable on a 1-minute chart. It's in play. So yeah, I'm not willing to take the long on the NQ if the ES is going to drag us down. I'm waiting to see if we come down below and sustain below 77.47. That puts us below the hourly chart MSR channel on the hourly chart. Hourly chart MSR channel bottom. And if we're in a pre-trade conditioning or PTC sell pattern on a 1-minute chart, I might want to take that short, but we've come right to the edge. We've not submerged. And perhaps the NASDAQ now picks up the ball and says, I want to help bring the ES back up. It's not great behavior between the two. And Anka, that's a challenge, right? If you have your stop losses and limit orders in there and they get triggered before the 10 seconds, I think the rule is 50% of your trades have to be 10 seconds or longer, right? So there are going to be conditions where, hey, if you get stopped out, I'd rather get stopped out than, have the account go red. But then on gains, we want to try to keep that 10 seconds in mind at a bare minimum, right? So the ES is not submerging below 77.47. The NQ is starting a bounce back up. This is a legitimate re-entry area. It's not the best. I'm getting a mid-channel pivot on the slow spike. I'm still dealing with the Spike 2.0 being in a good spot on the 5-minute chart. Still dealing with the triple S above the top of the channel. It just does not look great. It doesn't look good enough for me to want to take. Like, I'm not seeing the behavior, the speed, okay, now we just breached 47. We just breached 47 on the ES, and I'm seeing the double red dots. I just hit the short button on the ES. Might be early, but I just hit the short button. I've got the double red dots. Okay, tentatively, the PTC pattern is trying to engage on the 5-minute chart. It's in play, the PTC pattern on the 1-minute chart. The PTC pattern involves at least 3 triangles. We're left with a down. Double red dots are in play with a bar below the bottom of the channel. So the trade's working. Let's see if we get a little more out of it. I want to get something out of it. There we go. Okay, I'm going to take some profit. Okay, I need to beef that account back up. So I took some profit. Where's the next place that I can enter? I can do it pretty much right here, or wait for the close of the 5-minute bar to know that the PTC pattern is in force on the 5-minute chart. It's working, right? That last entry was correct. It worked. It's still working. This bar still got a little bit of lifespan left, 1.5 minutes or so, before this 5-minute bar closes at 11:20. But let me at least explain what the pattern is, because it's in force on the 1-minute chart. The PTC pattern, it stands for a pre-trade conditioning. It comes with the triple S toolkit, involves having a minimum of 3 signals on chart. So in this case, we have a down, an up, a down. The signals cannot be separated by more than 6 bars. Okay, that condition has been met. And then if we're left with a down, we want to see at least 1 bar below the channel bottom with the double red dots, which we had right there at 77.51. Okay, now we know that the pattern's working On close of that bar, it's a high probability pattern. It's one of the highest out there. It's likely going to keep working, and it is working. And that last trade, as you saw, was profitable. Now, not only on a 1 minute chart, but on a 5 minute chart, we've got the pattern going. Like you've got a down, an up, a down, 2 bars go by, an up, a bar goes by, down, up, down. And we're left with the down. And this bar is well below the bottom of the MSR channel, and it's got the double red dots. So if this bar closes like this, we are probably going to see more weakening on the ES, taking us below that 77.40 low that we had earlier, down towards 77.10, 7,700. And look, I'm not going to say that it has to stop there, but the pattern is working quite clearly. Double red dots are there. A little oversold on the immediate term, so maybe a tactic to use here is to wait for the speed lines to be tested. But I'm just going in. I'm going to set this one and let it run. Now, as far as it goes on the NQ, we don't have that pattern on the NQ. But we are in a sell signal state on the NQ. We are in a sell signal state on a 1 minute chart. And if we get any oversold bouncing happening here, we're going to be bouncing up into falling resistance. So, the opportunity for it to start eroding some more is here. It would get going a lot more on that erosion side below 550, which is where the fast speed line is. 580 is the center of the 1 hour chart MSR channel. 550 is the fast speed line. Now, we're in the last 10 minutes of our session. I want to make sure that I answer your questions. If I haven't answered questions, my apologies. So I want to make sure that I do that. So feel free to, if you have questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. Apologies, I've been looking at the chat significantly here. So I'm just trying to read through the chat right now. So my PTC trade is working. Right? It's working. Anyone else in it? Well, now it's not working. Now it just went out of the money on a reversal. I might have to risk manage myself out of it. I'm still holding for a bit here. I want to see if the NASDAQ is going to be what pulls it back down. I'll let you know if I'm going to be exiting it. But the NASDAQ is threatening to pick it back up and take it up. So let's just see if there are questions here that I can answer. Oh, so yesterday I was just mentioning to you the videos that I put out in the morning, right? Trader Funding Hub, Day Trades Delivered. So you can literally write into Wealth Charts and ask them to put you on the list. So you'll just get the email every morning. But it's Trader Funding Hub or it's Day Trades Delivered. I'm getting a little bit more interested in getting out of this ES trade if it doesn't work. I've been in it for quite some time. It's not really doing much. But let's see. PTC is still in effect. See if I can get some profit out of it. I want to see a little whoosh here. Yeah, that's good. You know what? I'm taking some profit. Thank you very much. Okay, so again, the pattern's very high probability. And it's worked out. So as we come into the end of the morning, my question to you is, were you able to take some of the, the emotional dissonance and turn it into a lesson for yourself? That's what I tried to do live in front of you, right? And look, I'd rather hold on to my gains in the week rather than, just, slinging from the hip and shooting in a market that doesn't deserve that type of action. Right, we used a methodically saw the pattern right there. It's in full bloom. We've got the engageability on it. Sure, is it a little oversold right now? Of course it is. That's not a question. We've come down below the lows for the market morning for the ES. Has the NQ done the same? No. The NQ already had the slingshot pulled back further to begin with. We assessed before the start of cash hours that it would be likelier that we see the NQ come down to 29,200 and then get a bounce. Okay, and we got the bounce. Okay, that initial reversal, great. The 10 a.m. bar was a little more challenging, but it did go up, and it was the lesson of, hey, when you're in an overbought market that's seeing some fracturing and you get the slingshot pulled back after a deep enough pullback to say we've gathered bullish fuel, which you heard me say, that's the case. We saw it on the 1 hour chart. And hey, if we want to trade that type of market, we're going to probably need to tolerate a little bit more risk and have a little bit more duration and stay in the position. Now, did we see some follow through? Well, remember when we were talking about the breakout trade? Remember when I said Fuad said, no, George already told me multiple times this, we're not seeing breakouts be worthwhile here, right? It failed. And it was not the NASDAQ that was failing in and of itself. It was the ES getting pulled back down. It was the ES getting pulled back down. And Yin, Yin T, you're very welcome on that FFF code. Absolutely. You're very, very welcome. So we just saw the ES work very well on that PTC trade, right? And it's still in force. Where are we coming down to next? Well, let me share it with you. I'm going to bring up my key decision level sheet here. So we're sitting at 77.38 right now. 77.38, 32, 23, 16. Okay, and then of course, we've got all of that. But look, I don't think that we're in a spot yet where this whole thing unravels. I don't think we're there yet. I think the ES is getting its turn to pull back to refuel. If the NASDAQ was coming down to lower lows than what we saw earlier in the session, like in the 9 a.m. bar, that would be a better signal to tell me that both are going to drop and we're done coming back up to highs. I don't think we're done coming back up to highs. I think that we're likelier to come back up towards the 7,800, 7,820 area on the ES. One more go. And then come back down. And Dan, I guess we see it the same way, right? In fact, this is probably a good moment to kind of chart out like a little flight path here and share that with you from where we are. So let's do that. So we can talk about this on the ES side first. From where we are right now, did I get my drawing tool? Let me just grab it. Freehand. Yep, freehand, freehand. Thank you all. Okay, so from where we are right now, come down to the lower 7,700s. And then come up. I'm not seeing the drawing tool appear. It's probably because I need to refresh my template. Bad on me. I'll just trace it out on the screen at least then. Or maybe it's white in color. But from where we are right here, down towards this area, and then a bounce back up towards highs, if not higher highs, and then a rollover. Okay, the alternative is you come down and you're spending more of your time in the lower half of the candle from August the 4th, somewhere back into the pivot range for the week, i.e. 76.80, 76.70. And then, yeah, it's highly unlikely that we're going to be coming back up to highs. Otherwise, come back to the halfway marker of the candle, retrace half the range of the big bullish push up, and then bounce back up. Standard fare, high probability. Okay, now we can go look at this from the NASDAQ front. Okay, we've done just that. A little deeper. We accounted for that this morning. Big green bar. Forget about the indecision bar, where we made the higher highs, right? Focus on now, was the down strong enough to keep us trading in the lower half of the big bullish push-up bar? No, it wasn't. We reversed up off of it. And that was our call to begin with on the day, right? So we nailed that, got the move back up. But the insight now is, hey, the ES is probably trying to replicate something like this, where it needs to go down to gather some more bullish fuel, work off the overcooked condition, and then shoot back up again. I don't think it's going to be with the same force and momentum and energy that we saw on August the 4th and leading into it. So it might actually be a decent trading environment once the ES is done. It's not done clearly, but right now it's taken a pause on its drop. We're getting the setup for a counter trend bounce that could take us into the MSR channel, back test the underbelly of 77.47, come back down again, that would be one way to reshort it. 77.46 is the slow speed line on the 5-minute chart, so that would be fair. 77.47 is the bottom of the hourly chart MSR channel. So logically, a drift back up towards this territory and then a push back down would be the likely outcome. If it's going to directly drop from here without back testing falling resistance, I could consider the short below 37. I think that was one of our numbers. Let's no, 32 is the number, 47 and then 32. But that puts us somewhere in the middle. And it is where local lows are. Outside of the tails, yeah, 37. I'd be comfortable if it just dropped directly below 37 to try the trade again. But the estimate right now is come back up, hit the falling resistance, and come back down again. And yes, I can answer the question on the FFF stuff in just a second again. Okay, so I'll present that to you in just a second again. But I wanted to, simply put in front of you the outlook. So we've got the pullback that's refueled enough to try to get us up to 850 or slightly higher on the NQ. And I think that similar type of pullback is what's in motion on the ES right now. It doesn't have to go down to, the 7600s, but the lower 7700, 7710, that would be sufficient. If it comes down into the 7710 area or 77 in single digits, we should be looking likely for a reversal back up. And again, could it rival the highs that we saw yesterday? Potentially. If we spend more of our time in the lower half and we close back in the weekly pivot range, it's cooked. We're not likely coming up to highs on Friday. We're probably going to come down. And exactly, Sandy, it is, I'm so happy that folks have, taken the time to put into the chat what they've learned. So many folks have already commented in the chat, and they've learned a lot. And Naveed, there's no specific video on PTC outside of in the Triple S Resource Center, right? So in the Resource Center, just go to the Triple S Resource Center. The classes that I did last Thursday and this Monday have got, that's all about the PTC pattern. And Curtis, what is the code and offer that has been talked about with the FFF several times? I noted that a couple of other folks also asked, so I will show you right now. And Yin also commented in the chat, there's no activation fee for the Velocity account. So it's a good deal, right? Exactly. Okay, so here it is. I'll share it with you. Give me a second to pop it up. And I think that's a good way to end the session as well. For folks who are interested in a great deal from Funded Futures Family, we've worked together for them to create a code. It's my first name that gives you a 90% discount off of a whole variety of their accounts. So it's quite valuable. And then the monthly fee afterwards is discounted as well, if you're taking something on that is to revolve, right? So here you go. Let's see if I can pop it up on your screen again. Okay, there it is. Yeah, it should be on your screen. So if you go to the FFF website, which is, I'll put it into your chat. If you go into the FFF website, if you don't have an account, you can open an account, just go to login area, set up an account. Okay. And then go over, once you've set up an account and you've logged in, you'll have a dashboard that'll pop up. Okay. You'll have a list of no accounts if you don't have any in there. And then you can hit the Get Funded button. Once you hit the Get Funded button, it will take you over to a page that shows you all of the types of prop accounts that they have available. And I think that you have my discount available for all three of these. I don't think it's available on the S2F plan, but all three of these, I think it's available. So of course you can try it. So the cheapest account that they have is a Velocity plan, which we've now confirmed does not have a activation fee. Yin confirmed that, and D confirmed that for any monthly subscription versions of this, the monthly subscription version, you will pay only what you got in at. You'll have the discounted rate. You're not going to get jumped up to the $79. Okay, so then you click the Get Funded on whichever account suits you. Make sure you do your due diligence and read, right? What I'm coming to the table by way of what we do here is coming to you and saying, hey, you've got a great offer. So once you've clicked get funded now for whatever account you've chosen, it goes into your cart, and then you go to your cart and apply the coupon code Z or ZIAD. ZIAD. So I'll just put that in again here. And it doesn't matter if it's lowercase or uppercase. And you'll get well, the account was 79 bucks and went down to 15 bucks and 80 pennies. So there you go. So does that answer the question to those that were asking? I know, Naveed, you had a question. It's good for now. John D, I can put the URL for the Trading Hub videos. Yeah, it's just Trader. Let me just go find it. Let me go find that URL. I'll pop that into the chat as well for you, sir. And I know, Kent, you asked, what's the discount off the monthly rate? It's not 79, it'll be 1580, right? So Kent M, that's the answer to your question there. If there are any more questions on this, feel free to throw them in the chat. There's so many things that have gone through the chat that, and Curtis A, I know you asked about it. So I hope that everyone's got the answers that they want, but let me just get that Trader Funding Hub link into the chat here for you. So it'll be right there in the chat for you right there. And off you go. So folks, we came, we saw, we conquered. We learned some lessons today. It's been an incredible week. I hope that you've had an incredible week as well. You've got an outlook presented for me. You've got the PTC pattern working still on the 5-minute chart for the ES. There it is, right? We came right back down. We've come right back down. The PTC pattern with the Triple S toolkit is pretty incredible, and it's continuing to work. And I think the mode that we're in, right, and exactly, Sandy just mentioned, make sure when you're doing this, choose wealth charts, right? Make sure that you choose wealth charts as the platform to use, right? Make sure that you do that. So thank you, Sandy, for the reminder. I appreciate that. But hey, you can't make that up. There's your pattern. There's the down. There's your pattern. There's the down. It's continuing to work right now. I think we're headed into the lower 7,700s, and then we're going to likely see a bounce back up. Of course, watch it like a hawk near that round number. Okay, watch it like a hawk near that round number. All right, folks, that's it for me. I got to get going because I'm going to be doing another hour session on wealth charts starting at 12 p.m. I definitely want to make sure that I pace myself. All right, folks. Well, it's been a great morning. I hope you've enjoyed your time here with us. I look forward to this every day, as I hope you can tell, and looking forward to sharing more insight with you again tomorrow morning at 9:15. We'll end the week strong. For those who want another dose of ZIAD, we'll see you on wealth charts at 12 p.m. Eastern time. You can just find that in the education section under wealth chart events from the hamburger menu. So education section is right over here. And then you just go over to wealth chart events, and you'll be able to log in for that midday session with me. All right, folks, I got to sign out and rest my voice for a little bit here to make sure that I'm good to go for that session. I wish you all the best in the rest of your trading day. I'm not going to see you, but I will definitely see you tomorrow morning at 9:15 a.m. Eastern time to do it all over again. Have a great rest of your day, folks. Bye for now.